Today I'm going to be making sous vide cheesecake. The reason I chose sous vide cheesecake is because I decided to treat myself to a new sous vide machine. So I've been playing around with it a lot, and I also love cheesecake. And cheesecake is something that's really easy to make. Most people really like it. You can customize it in a million different ways. And it's perfect for sous vide because you usually make a cheesecake in a water bath anyway. So really, you're just making a cheesecake in a really long water bath. So the first thing you want to, if you have a sous vide machine like mine, that just comes as the heating unit itself, want to make sure that you have some sort of sous vide container. I actually just bought this at Walmart. It was like $3. Every single employee that I passed between picking this up in the aisle and getting to my car was really stressed that I didn't buy a lid to go with my storage container. And they didn't understand when I was trying to tell them what I was doing. But pretty much any container that can withstand the heat up to what you'll be cooking with, which I checked this one can, that you take home, you wash, make sure it's sterilized, will work. I think this is the perfect size for any sous videing that I'll be doing. You can fit a good number of small mason jars like I'm going to be using today. You can also fit a good amount of portions of whatever it is you're sous videing, whether it be carrots, chicken, steaks. So this is a good size. Make sure that you clean it inside and out before you use it. Not that the water touches your food, but I'm kind of a clean freak, so it makes me feel better. So you're going to take this and you're going to fill it up with water. And so how far you want to fill it, we've got this, our sous vide heating unit. This one's really, I love this one. I actually got it at Target. And I love it because there's an app that connects to my phone. So it runs through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So I can check the temperature of my meat on my phone. It starts timers for me. I can actually start my unit heating from away from home if I want it to start cooking halfway through the day or whatever it is. So it actually has a clamp right here that I take, and I put the heating unit facing inside on the side like this, and then I just twist this until it's securely clamped. So you can see in here it's very close to the side, but it's got motion to move water around. It's not right against the plastic because this unit inside gets very hot. So now that I've got this, it actually has a minimum and a maximum fill line for the water. So I want to make sure when I fill my container with water, it's somewhere in between these two lines. I always like, especially if I'm doing meat, I like to fill it higher, closer to the max, just because some of the water will evaporate as it's circulating and staying hot. So I'm going to fill this with water now. Container, it's got water in it. You can see it's in between the minimum and the maximum line on my heating mechanism. And I always like to put this on my stovetop just because the water in here does get pretty hot. And then you don't have to worry about anything hot being on maybe any counter surfaces that can't withstand heat. And so, like I said, I can do this from my phone, which is pretty neat, but I can go in here manually and decide what temperature I want. And so I actually want 176 degrees is what we're looking for this cheesecake. So on this, I can go, this tells me what temperature the water is already. I put in pretty warm water just so it would take a little less time for it to heat up. This tells me my target temperature, and then this I can set a timer. So we're gonna go 176 and start. And as I start, you can see we've already got a little bit of motion in the water. Pretty soon you're going to see the water moving quite a bit as it heats up. So we're going to let that water heat up. While we wait for our sous vide to heat, we've got all of our mise en place set up for our cheesecake base. So we've got 1 pound of softened cream cheese. If you ever have cream cheese that is a little too cold, a little too hard to work with, and you don't want those chunks of cream cheese, you can actually wrap the whole thing in plastic wrap and just submerge it in some warm water for a few minutes. That will help to soften up the cream cheese. We've also got equal parts sugar and heavy cream. You can also substitute the heavy cream for buttermilk. A lot of people like to do that if they like a little bit of a more tangy cream cheese. And I've also put a pinch of salt in with our sugar. We've got 3 eggs and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. These little 4-ounce mason jars. I just bought a case of them for any time I do sous vide desserts. And you can do this in the 8-ounce size, so twice as big as well, but I really like the 4-ounce size. It's the perfect little dessert cup. So now we're just gonna go ahead and fill each of these with our cheesecake mixture. So you want this to be about 2/3 of the way full, so I'd say almost up to that first ring right here, just because you want room for the cheesecake to be able to steam while it's sous vide. We're going to seal these, so we're going to make sure we get the lid on and the ring. And the trick with this is that you want it tight so that water can't get in, but you want it to what we call fingertip tightness. And what that means is that it's tight enough that the lid is on, but loose enough that I can loosen it with just my fingertips. Kind of hard with one hand. But tight enough that it's secure, loose enough to fingertip tightness that with just my fingertips I could easily undo this lid. So I'm gonna go through and put the lids on all these now. We're up to temperature now, so we're gonna take these and they're gonna go in the water, let them go all the way down to the bottom. So we're just gonna repeat that step with all of our cheesecake. The one thing is you just wanna make sure that they don't stack on top of each other. So we're going to stick all of these in, set the timer for 90 minutes.
Will guide you home and ignite.
We made it through our painstaking 90 minutes, so now we can take our cheesecakes out. I'm just going to take one out to show you what I do with them, maybe. There we go. So, we're going to move it over. So like I said, this can either sit out room temp just until it cools down, if you like your cheesecake a little more room temperature, or you can take this entire thing and let it cool down for a couple of minutes. It's still pretty hot to the touch. Once it's cooled down a little bit, it goes straight in the fridge and you just leave it in there until your cheesecakes are cold.
Your bones, and I will try to fix